someone wanted to buy this car and they were persistent about buying the car. They threw around some figures and I actually did not want to sell the car. Eventually the person offered me 150,000. Yo, my dudes, welcome back to another video. So as promised, I am going to do a full walk around on my car. I actually did the video before this, but there's a few things that I missed out, so I'm just basically redoing this video. I want to start off by saying that this is kind of the outro for 2020 as well as the intro for the new year, which is 2021. I also want to do this every year just to show you guys everything that we have done through the year and what the car looks like. Then I also want to touch base on 2020. It's been a rough year. How can I say, COVID, it's a real thing. I've lost a lot of friends as well as family. So what I also want to just say is my deepest sympathy to you guys and my condolence to you and your family. And then moving forward, before I do start of this video, I also want to say a massive thanks to all the sponsors that has sponsored me throughout the year, as well as the new sponsors that are coming aboard in the new year as well. There is a lot of people that actually reach out to me, and there's also a lot of people like yourselves that are watching the channel. Just like to thank you guys, as well as a lot of you guys that have made contact with me that would like to work going forward, like buying parts and merch, etc. I do look forward to working with all of you guys. And then yeah, I'm going to start off the walk around now. What I also just want to inform you guys is my car, how can I say, it has not been inspired by one specific car. There isn't like one car that I just saw and I did every single mod that car has on it. My car is inspired by many different things. It's inspired by myself. It's inspired by different builds. It's inspired by different genres, different sports. Like, let's say for example, JDM, EDM, how can I say, stance, kanjo, track. And when I'm referring to sports, I'm referring to different sports like drifting, Formula Drift, F1. All of those stuff actually have a massive influence in my whole car. Like I mentioned, my car is not influenced by one specific car. All the mods that you see on the car, there's a specific reason why I actually went ahead and how can I say, did that mod. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create different sections in this video, starting off with the interior and then moving outside the car. What I also picked up while making this video is that the video basically cuts every time. I think my phone basically heats up a little bit, so I'm going to cut the video every time and then just make sure that everything is cool before I start off again. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay guys, so we're starting off with the interior of the car. This is everything that you see when you do basically drive the car, and that is also a very important thing to me, and that is also why I wanted everything to be original in the car. So starting off with the most obvious thing is I have a Momo original Monte Carlo steering wheel. The steering wheel is timeless, and how can I say, the steering wheel is it matches the period of the car. So what I'm trying to say is that the steering wheel it matches the year model, etc., and it goes with everything. It isn't too advanced or too old for this car. The reason why I also went with the steering wheel is Spoon shares the exact same steering wheel. Besides the size, I think Spoon uses 340 millimeter. This is 350 millimeter, and then they obviously have the red stitching over here, and then obviously the hood is different as well. What I also picked up with the steering wheel compared to a replica steering wheel, the stitching is very noticeable on a fake steering wheel. Like here you would actually see it. Here you guys can see that it's basically, it's one thing, it looks like there's no stitching. There is actually no stitching. I'm not even sure how they actually get this together, but as you guys can see, this is very quality made. As you guys know that Momo is actually from Italy. What I also like about the steering wheel is that it hooks my hand over here, What I also picked up with the replica ones is that this is actually very pop, I would say. In other terms, it would be soft in English terms. So the steering wheel is very sturdy, and I've also seen many videos of guys actually ripping the steering wheel because of it being a rep. I also do not have a quick latch because I haven't found a quality one yet, because I've picked up a lot of guys, if you move the steering wheel, it shakes, as you guys can see. Mine doesn't really even shake. And then moving over to my ignition switch as well as my start button. So the reason why I actually went with this is I like the whole fighter jet vibe. It gives me that whole feeling of being a fighter jet pilot. However, so it is also recommended for you to isolate your ignition from the rest of the car in case of a collision. Then I also went with a FN2 Type R start button. So for you guys that do know what an FN2 looks like inside, it's very modern. So I just wanted to give a little bit of that modern touch to my interior. A lot of countries actually do not have an FN2 Type R. I'll just maybe put a picture up on screen what an FN2 Type R looks like. And then also I basically created me a key using the casing of an FN2 Type R as well. So basically the whole interior is kind of Type R orientated. I might just add something extra in future of an FN2 Type R as well, because to me they're kind of rare in other countries. However, they're very common in my country. So just moving forward to the center of the car. This is my tape, I would say. I do not have a sub or amp. I actually removed everything, so I just kept my tape. This tape, however, does come from my first car, which was a Mark 1 Golf, which I had in high school. However, this isn't, how can I say, an outdated tape. It does still have Bluetooth. It even has the mic over here. So yeah, that comes from my Mark 1 Golf I had a few years back. And then the center console is kind of rare in other countries, like in the US. I don't think you guys get this. However, because in South Africa, Mercedes, how can I say, produced Honda, or this shape, the EG shape, as an affordable luxury car. Our 180 shapes do actually come with the center console. So the 180E and the 180i comes out with this. It's a very nice option actually. I do plan on fitting a double din in here. I had actually one in my my first EG, so that was very long time ago. Like I mentioned, I think it was 2013, 2014. So I had a double din in here. So I might just do this in future, and then maybe just put some gauges in over here as well. And then just moving a little bit down, you guys do know this. This is my Concept Sport shifter plate. Concept Sport is my current sponsor. So this is actually a one-of-one part. I was actually thinking of selling these, but I think it's much more worth it to me to actually, well, how can I say, much more valuable to me, because this is a one-of-one part and no one will basically have this ever. So I am going to keep this, and I'm not going to sell any shifter plate with the T2 track on it. This will be a one-of-one forever. Like I mentioned previously, this was sprayed black, and then I have a CV booth fitted just to make it look a little different. And then just moving up over here, this is my Type R, EK9 Type R gear knob. It is a BWR. And then you guys can see the BWR over here. And then as an additional option, I also have a Skunk 2 rose gold gear knob, as well as I still have the original gear knob as well. I did see someone actually put red crayon in here and then just burnt it so that it has the whole red inside here. I might just attempt that just to show you guys a little mod that you guys can do in future. And then moving forward, this is my driver fire extinguisher. So if you guys can see this cable over here, this runs through the firewall and goes outside over there to that lever. So in case of a collision, someone can actually pull that lever and this will then squirt onto the driver. Then also moving forward, this is my number plates, a Japanese plate, and then this is my spoon plate. I was going to get the actual Japanese plate that actually has that bulge over here or hump. However, for you guys that do know, this number is special to me, so I wanted something custom. This is just a spoon plate that I had. I do have 2 of each. However, I do not run a front plate, so I am going to maybe change it up and maybe create a Mugen or something to that effect. And then I'm going to cut the video here right now and then just show you my seat setup. Okay guys, so this is my seat setup. This is a SR3 Le Mans Confetti Ricardo seat, an original seat. I also share the same seat with TJ Hunt.
And I love the confettis, and I love like their time era.
Randy from Eliminate.
Oh!
As well as Adam LZ. Whoa! They all have the same seat. The seat also comes out of a JZX, which is also known as a Chaser, also known as a 4-door Supra. The seat also comes out of the JDM Supra, I think Mitsubishi Evo, MR2s, etc. So this is a very iconic seat. It's very rare, especially in South Africa. I could be one of very few in South Africa. So yeah, you guys might be thinking why I only have one seat in my car. So just a little bit of a history or facts. In Japan, the drivers are very driver orientated, as well as the cars. For example, a Supra as well as an S2000, the whole dashboard actually faces the driver, so they are very driver orientated. So what I'm trying to get at is, in Japan, the drivers only change, or mainly change, only the driver's seat, because obviously they're more focused on the driver. The passenger then will have either the OEM seat or a luxury seat. However, in future I do plan on making this my passenger seat and going for something more aggressive as a driver seat or FIA approved. So that is my plans with my seat setup. And then just looking at the back over here, this is my NOS bottle. Is pretty much, I wouldn't say full on set up. The cable does run right through to the engine bay. However, the solenoids I do have, I just didn't manage to actually set them up. I'll also explain why I haven't set them up really yet. That is also one of the topics I want to discuss with regarding my power plant or my power mods, why there's no any mods done to the car yet. This is also my roll cage. It is a bolt-on roll cage, half cage. It just mounts over here, and at the back by the coilover or the rear struts, I would say. So yeah, that is basically the interior is all finished. So I'm just going to move backwards to the rear of the car. Starting over here, this is a Nissin decal. So for you guys that do not know, Nissin is the company that does the brakes for Honda. I think Honda owns 46.7% of Nissin, if I'm not mistaken. You will also see this on the spoon cars as well. I just went for this because obviously I like the whole blue, white and red. And then this is my spoon logo. I had this actually on my white car as well, 2013, like I previously mentioned. And then this is also my rear visors. So a lot of South Africans have these, how can I say, wouldn't say it a visor like this, but fiberglass mounts like this, which are very saggy over here. It looks, once again, like I mentioned, looks very pop. It hangs over here, which I'm not really a fan of. This rear visor and side visors I bought off a guy that I think has brought it over via eBay. If I recall, I did see the guy mentioning that he has was selling this visors on Hot Stuff Racing many years ago. However, I think I might have bought it off the person that has bought it from him. So I have this very long ago. This is actually transparent. You can actually kind of see through it. So I assume these are original. And then, like I mentioned, moving to the rear of the car, I'm going to start over here. So these are my quick latches, very similar to the ones I'm going to put on my bumpers. These are just a little bit more bigger or more heavy duty. So the whole idea with this is you basically press this and on this side, and then the whole boot is basically removable. The sign over here to be continued is because I kind of messed up over here. We did however manage to weld it closed. I added a black sticker just to make it look a little bit better. Me and Dane is going to spray the section over here. We might even just carbon overlay it. It's just an idea. However, we do plan on spraying the section over here, and then moving a little down. This is my kill switch. It's unfortunately not set up yet. The whole idea with this is obviously to remove this. That will then isolate the battery or kill the battery in case of a collision or fire. This is my latches for my boot lid, and then this is also I say a very rare part actually. If you check on eBay right now, you can do it right now and go look for EG9 rear garnish. These were actually sold out. You don't find them at all. These are for the EG9. So for you guys that do not know what an EG9 is, EG9 is basically the same shape as an EG8. However, it has a lot of extras. So the EG9 is the highest form of the EG shape. I think it's higher than the EG6, etc. So this is the rear garnish from that. The Cape Town or South African rear garnish will then have the light on top over here, and I have the lights on this side, or the EG9. A lot of USDM cars also come out with this because they are forced to run the block plate. So a lot of USDM cars have these as well. I just cut out this over here because I thought this was a very cool shape, and I just cut my boot lid out for this gap, so you can actually see right through. I can also just put a plate here when I do wash the car, so nothing actually goes in here. It's also being waterproof tested, like how can I say, for rain example. However, I do not drive this car in the rain, but it has been tested before. Then just moving a little bit more down, I have a diffuser, rear bumper diffuser. I just made mine look a little bit different with the mesh over here, and I resprayed this black to make it a little more cleaner. I also added, I'm gonna speak under correction, is either butterhead Allen keys, just to make it look a little bit different. And then I do have a password JDM tow hook, and then my infamous Mugen twin loop. So this is also a very rare part. Not a lot of people in South Africa have this part. You can also go look on eBay right now. They price around to 20,000, 15,000. That will be for a second-hand part. Obviously, Mugen does not actually make new ones like this. This is a full exhaust. However, the center or the middle box has been damaged because if you know a Mugen exhaust, it has the center part is very thick. So I scraped it and it kind of damaged, and I removed it. I think I have it still laying around, but I replaced it with a different muffler, so it actually gives a much more louder sound as well. Bear in mind that a Mugen twin loop exhaust does come off an actual Mugen car, so it comes out of a production car. So yeah, that is basically the rear end of my car. Just another thing I also wanted to mention is that this is my sticker that I am selling. This is also the dealership that sold the car to the first owner. So I do have the owner's manual, and I have the whole, how can I say, service history. Also on the card it says the McCarthy. It also says the guy's name, and it also says Mercedes and Honda, because like I mentioned, this car is produced by Mercedes, and this is, I assume, a Mercedes red color. So a lot of you guys have actually asked me what color this is. I assume it is a Mercedes color, and that is why we can't find it anywhere with the Honda colors like Milano red, etc. The suspension that I do have, you guys can just check over here. So that is a big tie bar, an ASR strut brace, and then I also have skunked two LCAs. LCAs also known as lower control arms. And if you guys can just look a little closer there, you'll see a BC logo. That is actually EK. how can I say, lower forks or lower mount forks. I actually have to run the EK forks on the PCs in order for me to actually have my lower control arms. So I do have PC coilovers in the car. It's currently set on soft for driver use, or how can I say, daily use. So moving to basically the side of the car. So this is some spoon mirrors. So the spoon mirror is a very common part that every Honda guy would actually want. However, the original ones are very hard to get by. That is why I opted for the blue manual one. So for you guys that do not know, the electric one is actually not recommended because it has a mechanism at the back and it does not allow you to basically adjust it to the way you want it. So it basically, how can I say, it curbs you from actually adjusting it. So once you're sitting inside the car, you actually have to move your whole body in order for you to see. The reason why I also opt for this, because this is the closest form to the original one. So for you guys who do not know, the original spoon mirrors is blue, tinted like it is right here. This is moved a little bit more to the front. You can actually see this little section while inside the car because of visibility, and they're also carbon as well as they are not electric. I think Dustin Williams also has spoon mirrors on his S2000. It is also manual. Then I just added this decal over here. I would say I was one of the first to actually add this specific decal. There is a previous one I added on my white car. It's a little thinner. However, this decal I have for very long. It matches obviously the decal at the back. And then I also have the cane over here, which I also have on my rear OEM bumper. So yeah, just a little small touches that I changed just to make my car different from the rest. However, this is now available in South Africa. A friend of mine actually makes this, as well as I think he makes the rear decal as well. Then I also went with the Spoon Primo banner. This is more for the touring car. So like I mentioned previously, my car is influenced by a lot of different genres, sports, like I mentioned. So I think this is from a touring car. And then I still have my bragging rights sticker over here. So at bragging rights I won first place for best race, which I then got 2,000 Rand gift voucher from Xmods, and I got a few other goodies as well. So when I go to an event, if the sticker lasts long on the car, I keep it there. As soon as it gets worn out a little bit, I'll then remove it. As well as I did win something at this event, so I'll try to keep this as long as possible on the car. And then just moving a little bit down, this is also the handle that I mentioned that you pull, that will then lift up the fire extinguisher, which squirts onto the driver. I just added these decals as well. I had this button laying around. It's actually for the NOS button, so I just added this in case I do want to maybe create or maybe use it for something else. Okay, so just moving further, I'm going to move over to my, what I'm going to call, I would say, Wong spec or Stm Fenders. These fenders are basically influenced by NSX fenders, not the one that Senna was involved in. I'm referring to the hybrid one, the 2018 one. So you guys can see the shape is very similar. However, I've made a lot of changes. I've also encountered a lot of guys attempting to create or recreate these fenders. A lot of them are, I would say, close, but none of them are exactly like this. So moving forward, I am going to recreate these fenders for you guys. Maybe going to create a fiberglass mold, and then you guys can basically add it to your car. You can bring it to me even, and I'll assist you with basically fitting it. I am looking for, I wouldn't say a donor, but for someone that is, how can I say, into these fenders and would like these fenders. I might, the first few fenders I'm going to have to obviously make an example on a car. Now I might use THAARIQ, however, but I am going to need someone that is going to be interested in this and do it on their car. The advantage of having these fenders is it lowers your brake operating temperature. as well as it can help with engine bay temperature if you do drill a hole from here into the engine bay. So that does help with that. Then also another thing on the side of the car is the EK side skirts. EK side skirts does also come off my previous car. Like I mentioned, 2013, it's all old mods that I had on the car. And yeah, the reason why I went to this is more of a block shape. It actually makes the car look a little lower. It also kind of complements my spoon lip as well. However, in future, I have been working with Concept Sport to recreate my own Wong spec or SDM side skirts. So that is something that you guys will see in future as well. Speaking about Concept Sport, THAARIQ did assist me with getting the decal for my tires, which is also 2-3 years ago. What I am running is a spoon rim. What a lot of people ask me, what is my setup? My spoon rim is a little bit different from the usual, how can I say, the common spoon rims that you usually get in South Africa. This is a Regenmeister, so it is a little bit different. It kind of has a bigger lip as well. So there is a few differences as well. So for you guys that have been asking, that is also the reason why my spoon rim looks different to yours. So yeah, moving forward to the front of the car. So these are bonnet latches. This obviously keeps the bonnet in case of a collision, in case it flies into the windscreen. However, I do still have my original latch, which is working. This is just something that I have added time ago. You have to drill into your bonnet, however, in order for this to work. I also just opt for some Allen keys just to make it look a little bit different. So yeah, and then just moving a little bit down, this is my Concept Sport what I would call a velocity stack. This is actually a 3D print. It's also polyurethane, which then prevents heat, or it pushes away heat actually. So your conventional velocity stack, that actually increases heat. The only advantage of the velocity stack, the metal one, is that it creates a lot of sound, because the sound basically bounces off the metal. This is an, how can I say, proven to actually help you, how can I say, push away heat, and it actually helps with a little bit of kilowatts as well. THAARIQ did mention there's a dude, I think Yale, that actually gained kilowatts from running this. So this is a cool mod. I did do a video on this, you guys can check it out. He also gave me some motor filter that goes over here, that also helps, how can I say, for example, if you are driving in different conditions like rain, etc. And then this is also my EG6 or EJ1 front bumper, EJ1 being the coupe, EG6 obviously being the hatch. So my car is actually known for this bumper, as well as actually for the whole car actually. I am, I would say, the first one to create a hybrid. When I mean hybrid, I'm referring to basically linking the two bumpers, the EG6 and the EG8. The reason for me actually doing that, EJ1 and EG6 front is completely different. I'm referring to the fenders, the bonnet, the bumper, the lights, even the sides. Everything is completely different. The whole front is different. I think it's more narrower, if I'm not mistaken. So instead of me changing the whole front, what I did was cut the whole top part of the EG6 or the EG8 and then added the EG6. So this is a hybrid. So I think there is maybe another dude, I'm actually know him, I messaged him years ago when I wanted to do this. His bumper could have been a bumper that automatically, someone created that automatically fits onto the car, but mine is in a hybrid. So that is why I'm saying I'm the first, because I'm the one that created a hybrid one, which is a two linked together, as well as the spoon lip as well. So yeah, the spoon lip also was a little bit of some trouble, because the lip is from, how can I say, it's a recreated bumper, so no lip basically fits on here. So this bumper, or this lip, had to be cut up into pieces in order for it to fit onto this bumper as well. So it's a lot of trouble actually doing this. A lot of people have actually asked me how to do this. If I give you an amount, I probably paid, I would say 5 to almost 6K for the whole front. I'm referring to obviously having it mounted, having it, how can I say, combined, etc., and obviously the spray work and so onwards. and obviously importing the bumper. At the time it was a lot more money because how can I say, no one really had this bumper at all. The dude that I actually bought it from had it, and I think he was a little bit scared of actually doing it because it is how can I say, it is something very scary. Buying something of $2,000 maybe and having to cut it up to make it fit, it is kind of scary. However, I had this bumper for almost a year, and so sorry about that, my phone just ran out of space. Anyway, like I was saying, the reason why my bumper looks a little bit more original is because a lot of guys that do not have the right dimensions for this. So this actually looks much more longer, and it basically makes the car look a little bit odd. So I have worked with a few guys that have attempted to do this. I think it's a blue one and a white one. A guy that messaged me on Instagram. I assisted him with actually the dimensions and how to go about it, and he's came out pretty good. So I would say there is a few guys that actually have how can I say, executed it properly, and there's also a few guys that should have maybe just made it a little bit smaller, etc. So just moving forward, I'm going to open the bonnet right now and then just show you the engine bay. Hey guys, so this is my engine bay. It's not much to see. Car is completely standard from the first owner. Nothing has been changed. I think I'm even running the exact same clutch from the first owner. I haven't had any issues with the car. Car actually kind of spins still in third gear, actually still spins. So yeah, probably only changed the battery over there. But the only modification is the cold air induction and the Concept Sport velocity stack, and maybe this little breather pipe over here. So yeah, touching base with the reason why there's no modifications done here is because I wanted to change the whole engine. I did not actually want to go VTEC, so I did not want someone to make this car VTEC. I wanted an engine that was made by on the VTEC, like B18C or B16A. So yeah, that was just something that I really wanted. Another reason why is someone wanted to buy this car and they were persistent about buying the car. They threw around some figures and I actually did not want to sell the car. Eventually the person offered me 150,000. I still declined it, and I then looked into buying another car, and I wanted to start off my YouTube channel. And the whole reason why I was going to sell the car is to start off the YouTube channel so that I can basically, how can I say, start all from over and show you guys what I'm capable of doing on YouTube. So that was the whole plan. The whole period took a bit long, and then we just ended up not doing it. So that then led me to basically continue my build. So at the time of this whole agreement, my car was basically on pause from 2008, I think 2018, sorry. This car was basically on pause. I didn't do any much big mods. Like I mentioned previously already, that this whole car looks like this from 2018 already. It's been, I've done this already, and the car was basically on pause because the person wanted the car and I didn't want to spend any money on the car. So that is the main reason why there's no engine mods and why the gas tank has not been set up yet, etc. So I hope that answers a lot of you guys' questions. The also reason why I did not modify this engine is because I want VTEC. So I didn't want to add cams into here that will obviously not transfer over to the VTEC head. So yeah, I wanted to do mods around the engine so that in future it will then correspond to the next transplant. Speaking about transplant and engine mods, seeing that I'm going to keep the car right now and seeing that I've already started the YouTube channel with this car, I am looking into power mods, and I am looking into someone assisting me and advising me with parts going forward, what I should do, what transplant I should go with. So if you guys are interested in, how can I say, playing a role in this build, please make contact with me. It will help a lot. and it will help you with whatever you are doing, maybe with an exposure. So yeah, I'm looking into people that are, and companies that are, how can I say, willing to take this journey with me and basically making this car, or giving this car the power that it needs, because I mean it has the whole look, so hopefully it will have the power as well. So I'm just going to move over to my previous setup. So this is the bumper that the car actually came with. This is an OEM EG8 bumper. Just added a Mugen lip and some spots. As you guys can see, the bumper looks a little bit rough. This is obviously the bumper I drove all the way with in order for me to get the car. For you guys that do not know, this car was a first owner car, and I had to fly and take a train in order for me to get the car. It was 15 hours away. It didn't give me any trouble driving all the way. So that is my front bumper. And moving over to the rear bumper, which is also my OEM rear bumper. Also looks a little bit rough. So yeah, this is the spoon cane, like it matches the door with the spoon mirrors. Like I mentioned previously, this is a cane, not a swan. Just added a kufiachi over there. What a lot of you guys in your countries do not have, what we have is the rear mudguards. So that is something rare. I've found a lot of my friends from Indonesia or certain countries, I think USA actually mainly, they are in high demand for the rear muds as well as the rear spoiler. Then I have a rear fog light, it's obviously a Stanley part. If it does not say Stanley, it's not OEM. So I think Honda uses Stanley parts for all the lights, I assume. These are mainly in Malaysia, guys run these OEM. They're usually under or on top of the exhaust. I just did not really like the look, and that's why I ran mine on this side. And yeah, that's my rear bumper. I do plan on actually respraying these bumpers. Like I previously mentioned, I have new sponsors coming on board that might be able to assist me with actually respraying these bumpers, just giving it a little bit of a better look. What I also failed to mention is that I do have an SIR original lip for which was on this bumper, but then I made fit onto this bumper, and now I might just make the SIR original lip fit back onto this, just to give this one a little bit of a more clean look. Mugen lips are very common, so I can easily just run this again, but I want something a little bit rare for this bumper. What I also plan on doing in future is running this bumper, because I would like to create some mods for it, just to give it a little bit of a more aggressive look. I'm extremely scared actually to touch this bumper because it's very rare. And yeah, so what we do have up and coming for this bumper is obviously those quick latches on the side, so we can remove it in case we do encounter a large speed bump. So yeah, another thing is, this is my rear seat, sorry, my rear seat, my passenger seat. As you guys can see, it has a very similar pattern as my Le Mans confetti, and that is also why I went with the Le Mans confetti, even as is blue in here. Funny story is, regional owner had seat covers on the whole, all the seats. When he bought the car, I was the first one to remove it, so how can I say, my bum was actually the first person, I wouldn't say the first person to sit on the seat, but yeah, that's it for this section. These are actually my old mods. I do have the full interior of my whole car actually. It's just in storage. I also do have other few mods that's actually not there, which I can't show you guys. But yeah, we are coming, or slowly coming to the end of this video. This is my garage setup, 4-car garage, my workspace. This is my banner, my sponsor banner. So in future, I do plan on hanging whoever sponsors me on here, so I can obviously showcase you, and then whatever awards I might get, I'll just add it onto this wall. I haven't added the other awards yet. I just thought this one actually stands out a lot for me. I actually like the design a lot. And then random stickers I'll maybe add on this window over here, friends of mine, etc. I do have a few old ones over here. This was also one of these were actually the first record hookup. Could have been one of this. There was only 2, and hopefully there is this year as well. So yeah, that is that. So you guys will notice that the video has been cut a few times. I am filming with my phone, so it seems like the phone basically cuts out. I don't know if it's because it's heating up, or if it's actually some space or something. But yeah, I'm gonna try to put this video together for you guys. I did create a video before this, but like I mentioned, I felt like I didn't mention everything in the video. So yeah, I'm going to end off the video here. I'd just like to thank everyone that is watching this video and that is subscribed to the channel. I do look forward to hopefully seeing you guys in person as well, because I mean in future, when this whole COVID thing ends, we are then allowed to have some meets, and I'd really like to meet you guys. So if you guys do see me anyway, please come say hello. I would gladly, how can I say, maybe add you in the video, take a picture with you, have, how can I say, a chat with you, whatever. So yeah, this is basically the walk around of my car, and how can I say, my workspace. And yeah, there will be coming another car soon to the channel. Like I mentioned previously, it's not something extravagant, it's just something that is going to be a daily, and I'll maybe just show you guys on the channel. Also, like I mentioned earlier about selling the car, this is now going to be my lifetime build, the EG. So going forward, there's going to be a lot of new things coming for this car, because there's nothing basically holding me back right now. In future, I really want to do some power mods. So if you guys can maybe assist me, or whatever the case may be, or advise me in a good, I can say, direction with some power mods, please do make contact with me. It will help a lot. And then yeah, that will basically be it. If there is anything I missed in this video, I'll maybe just add it at the bottom of the video, and maybe just I will also add some links in the description as to how the car got to where it is right now, like the videos of me basically adding all of this. So I would actually recommend you guys, if you are only watching this now, please check out my other videos, just to show you a few mods on the car. Also check out my Instagram, because that is actually where I show where the car originally came from basically where I went to go buy the car and flew down. There's actually a picture of that as well, up to where it is right now. I have a lot of highlights. So before YouTube, I used to do a lot of Instagram stories, so you guys can check it out. It basically shows you the whole car from the start to where it is right now. So yeah, my mouth is even dry of talking so long. Anyway, I am going to end of the video here. Hope you guys did enjoy this, and I hope to see you in the next video. Peace.